and we're just excited about what is in store for you. So really quickly, let me just get into it and start sharing some things with you and trying to help you. Hello, Debbie. And I encourage you again to share this. This content I'm going to be giving you is something that is very applicable to everybody's life. So share this information with other people, okay? But it is good to be with you tonight or today, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. So I'm going to jump right in, and if I don't reply to your comments, realize that I'm closing out windows on my computer screen to save energy so that everything runs smoothly. So that's a big part of what's going on. So I'm going to be transitioning real quickly. So you keep commenting, though, and if you will, again, keep sharing this post. So as we jump in tonight, I want to talk to you again about something that all people who have success, what we consider successful people in this world, something they all have in common. One of those things they have in common is self-evaluation or self-examination. I think this is something we should all do. Now, again, realize when I talk about success, it may be that you're trying to be successful at school and passing a grade. It may be that you're trying to be successful at being a better husband or a better wife or a better parent. It may be that you're trying to be successful at being a better employee or moving up the corporate ladder. It may be that you're trying to be successful as an entrepreneur, as a pastor even. And we talked about this yesterday, and one of the things I find with success is examination. It's looking at myself and seeing how much I've grown. We talked yesterday about we can't help what changes, but we can help if we change. It's an opportunity for us, and we have to grow together. Amen? And so as we talk about that tonight, I want to talk to you because we find that there are 5 classifications of people in this world, I believe. I have narrowed it down to every human being on planet Earth will fall into one of these 5 classifications of people. And so I want to share those with you tonight, and I want you, as we go through these, to examine yourself. Now, as we work through them, I'm going to share with you how in my own life I have been at every stage of this that I will share with you. From the beginning to the end, I believe that I am either at or working towards every stage of this in my own life. And so I want to share that with you tonight. So let's jump in. Are you ready? If you're ready, why don't you type in, I'm going to look at my phone, right? So why don't you type in, I'm ready, and I'm going to look and see who's ready and who's going with me, right? So just type in, I'm ready, and let's get ready to learn. And I appreciate y'all jumping on with me tonight and taking time out of your schedule. That shows that you want to be invested in. So, again, just type in I'm ready at the bottom and we'll get going, all right? And so real quickly, I want to keep moving though. So as we get into it, I want to share with you these 5 classifications of people. So let's jump in. Are you ready? So the first kind of person we come in contact with is the person who is struggling. Now, when we talk about struggling, I want you to see and understand that what some people may consider struggling and what I'm talking about struggling is 2 different things. When I say struggling, I'm talking about people that feel like the weight of the world is pushing against them. They're completely on an uphill journey. They're not making any traction. The reason I chose this picture is because the person in this picture is not making any traction. They're not getting anywhere. The thing that is coming against them is heavier and more powerful than the thing they're pushing against. And they really feel like they're struggling. Now, these people, when I talk about success, the key is that these people, they have no purpose or drive. They are what we would call people who are merely surviving. And so when we look at that, I want to share that with you because there's a lot of people who are struggling. There's a lot of people who are struggling in life and they're just merely surviving. Now, let me say this. There's been times in my life where I felt like I was seriously struggling. Now, I don't know if you've ever been there, and I believe everybody has been there. As a matter of fact, I know every single human being in their life, when it comes to real success, has faced struggle. The reason I know that is because every human being alive on planet Earth was born with a sin nature. And so if we're born in sin, we're born with the weight of the world pushing against us, and we're struggling. We're struggling to make traction. We're struggling to find our way. We're struggling to find our identity. And we'll talk more about that in the future. But here's the thing. We're all strugglers at some point of our life. We all are classified as a struggling person. I have struggled in my life with addiction. I have struggled in my life with sin. I have struggled in my life with trying to achieve better financial status in my home and in my economic standing. I have struggled in my life with trying to be more knowledgeable as a Christian. I have struggled in my life with my faith. I have struggled in my life in a lot of areas. And today, maybe you find yourself being that person. I am not beating you up. I have struggled in my life when looking for success with no purpose. I didn't even know what my purpose was. I had no idea what my unique individual purpose was in this world. And I struggled. I struggled hard. But here's the thing. I also found that there was times where I had no drive. I knew my purpose, but I had no drive. I was struggling to find the drive in my life because I really didn't understand fully my purpose. And until you understand your unique purpose, you can never move past this place of struggle. I promise you that. Let me move on to the second type of person we find in the world today. The first one is the person who is struggling. The second is the person who is stranded. Now, the person who is stranded is a person who has been dropped by somebody, left on the side of the road with no direction in life. If you notice the picture, this girl, she's going on about her life, and this man, he's standing there just aimlessly distraught because he is a person who has been stranded. He's been stranded. Now, let me tell you about people that I've met and me, myself, that have been stranded. Because when we talk about being stranded, I understand, and I've been there, and I'm sure that you have as well. I'm sure that you have as well. Because when we talk about stranded, I want you to understand that I'm talking about people who are stranded and don't have no place of knowing where they're going. They have no idea of how to get there because somebody has hurt them so bad. Now, a lot of us have been hurt. We've been hurt in relationships. So we can't have a successful relationship because we have been stranded and hurt and left for dead by somebody else. There's so many stories I could mention from the Word of God, as this is a faith-based teaching. If you're not a person of faith, it's okay. But I want you to listen closely. I am a person of faith. So in the Bible, it talks about a story of a man from Samaria who was beaten up, left in the ditch, and left stranded. Now, can you imagine his trust issues he has as he goes through life with success, with people, as he is going through life? Let me tell you a better one. There's a man in the Old Testament by the name of Mephibosheth. That's a tough name, right? Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth, in a time of war, his nurse, his caretaker, dropped him. Now, isn't that what we're talking about, is being dropped? Being stranded? She dropped him, and he had to go into hiding because his father, Saul, was killed in battle, and here King David is taking the throne. So Mephibosheth is scared for his life. After David is on the throne for a while, he sends for Mephibosheth and brings him to the castle and tells him he's going to take care of him no matter what he needs. He's got a place to live. He's got food to eat. He's got all these things. My point is this, though. How many of us can say we're like Mephibosheth? How many of us can say that we understand what it means to be stranded, right? How many of us can say we feel like this guy? How many of us can say we feel like that guy? We feel like people have hurt us. We are in agony and in pain. We're screaming. The sky has grown black around us and we're hurt. Now, here's the thing. What I have realized is a lot of my hurt in my life has come from people I didn't expect it to come from. What about you? You see, Jesus had a disciple named Judas who would hurt him. He had a disciple named Peter who would hurt him. Can I tell you something? A lot of times I have found and I find that people have been dropped. They have been left stranded by what we call the church. Are you with me? They have been hurt by church. They have been hurt not by Jesus, but by his bride. And they have been hurt, and they are devastated, and they are stranded, and they are cut to the core. And I find so many times that I am able to relate with people because in my church history, I've been hurt by church people. As a matter of fact, there was a time in my life where I was finding my purpose. This is a true story. I was on my journey to my purpose. I had spoken with that who was then my pastor, and we were talking about my purpose. And I told the pastor, I said, I feel like in my spirit that God is calling me to be a preacher of some sort. And he was trying to encourage me. But what happened is that the devil knocked my legs out from under me because we missed a few services due to sickness. And then it ended up becoming due to the bed holding us in a sleeper hold on Sunday morning. Because what happened was in those weeks that we missed, nobody, and I mean nobody, checked on us. Nobody sent a card. Nobody called. Nobody come to my house and knocked on the door. Not even the pastor to say, hey, you matter to us. You're important to us. We miss you. You're part of our body, and we're hurting without you. Now, I can tell you what that did for me. That hurt me because I had felt like this was my family, my church family, my family in Christ. And why didn't they care? And so I listened to all the lies of the devil, and I believed that I didn't want to be a part of this hypocritical crowd. And so I stayed out of church and ended up living the worst time of my life. I backslid on God. I got away from my faith. I went to the bar. I went to the drugs. I went to the alcohol. I went to everything I could chase after to try to fill the void left in my life, not of Jesus. I was saved. I was a believer, but the void left in my life of my purpose. Finding success in who God created me to be. Which brings me to the third type of person I want to share with you. And the third type of person is the settler. Now, don't you love this? Because you're looking at it and you're thinking right now, wow, I mean, I thought we passed these days, but as a matter of fact, we have kind of went back to those days, right? Where we feel like, excuse me, where we feel like we're the kind of person who is, settling down. We're old school now, right? We don't even see people no more. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the kind of settler that you're referring to here. I'm talking about a totally different kind of settler in this aspect, because the settler I'm talking about here is I want to talk to you about a settler. And what I mean by that is not that they are a settler in the sense that they are settling a new land. It is kind of like that, but instead of settling a new land, these people are here, they are stuck, right? They are stuck on pause. Their life is stuck on pause. And what I mean by that, friend, is that they are paused. They have found some sense of purpose, but they've pushed the pause button. Now, this is so crucial, because when I usually talk about this, people automatically begin to believe that what I'm referring to is I'm referring to someone who doesn't want to be successful. That's not at all what I'm referring to. Have you ever found yourself reaching a certain level of success? In other words, let me illustrate it like this. You may know you're passing the grade if you're a high school or college student. You may know you're passing the grade, and in the fact that you're passing the grade, you settle and don't push yourself to your limits in wisdom and knowledge and growing and academia. And so therefore you pass the grade, but you could have made an A+ instead of making a C. Let me illustrate it for my adults. So many times we settle into a career that we're really not fulfilled in, we really don't thrive in, but because the money's okay, we settle. We settle into a relationship with a person because they're okay. I'm tired of being alone. I'm getting older. I want to have children. So we settle instead of pressing forward to the best. Here's the way I would say it. Why would you settle for okay when you could have good? Why would you settle for good when you can have better? And why would you settle for better when you can have the best? That's good right there. That's good. And I'm amening myself. And the reason why is because God teaches me that he died so that I could have the abundant life. He didn't tell me that he died so that I could settle. He didn't tell me that he died so that I could just meander through life and live a mediocre existence. He died so that I could have a life and have it more abundantly. Now, I don't know about you, but I believe the promises of God. Again, I'm a man of faith. If you're not, I'm not pushing my faith on you. I'm just telling you what I believe. But I want you to understand that if you believe that, then you don't want to be in the category of a settler, right? You don't want to just settle. Let me move on. I've got a few more people I want to talk to you about. The next person I want to talk to you about is the successful. The successful. So far, we've already hit the person who is struggling, the person who is stranded, the person who is settling, and now we're going to talk about the person who is successful. Now, I love this because I chose this picture for a reason. I chose this picture because here you have children. Did you know children can be successful? Again, when they pass a grade, they're successful. For them, when they beat that level on the video game, they're successful. Why? Because they've grown. They've worked a week to beat that level on the video game and couldn't beat it. And now they've beat it. So you understand what I'm saying, right? And so I want to talk to you for a few minutes about this level of success because as I shared with you yesterday, success is a very complicated thing. Success is a complicated thing because when you talk about success, you have to understand that success has so many definitions. And if you missed yesterday, I hope you'll go back and watch it. Because success is just so huge, right? But when we talk about success, I want you to understand there's people who are successful. Now, when we go back to being, and we talk about the fact of being settling, I've already shared with you in areas that I settled. I have settled in my life many times. I have settled in my career. I have settled in my relationship with my wife in saying, oh, we're married. We've been married for 25 years. Let's just coexist. No, we have to keep growing. We have to keep loving each other. We have to keep finding things to fall in love over and over and over and over again. I have to keep trying to help her and love her and care for her and her for me. Then we have to do those things. In my ministry, I could settle. I could say I've got the average church and I could say I'm settling, but I'm not willing to do that. Why? Because I want to move to this level. I want to move to the level of success. Now, when we talk about success, I shared that with you yesterday, so I'm not going to reiterate a lot of that, but success is a huge demographic of definitions that people give. My definition of success is that I am doing very well in what I am trying to accomplish. Yesterday, I gave you the idea of success is it's me exhausting my potential. That is success for me. If I can die and say, I feel that I did everything God had me to do, I would say, I feel that I have been successful in this life. And so I don't know about you, but if you want a successful marriage, then you have to go to that level. There may be people watching right now and you're struggling. Your marriage is struggling. Can I tell you what you need to do? You need to realize that you have settled. Think about it like this. When you were dating, you were doing everything you could to try to impress the person you were with, the person you're married to now. If you're not married and you're in a relationship and you're watching this and your relationship has got to a place where it's struggling, let's back up. Let's back up and look at our steps, right? Because we started out and we were doing good. Can I tell you why? Because you were paying attention to that person. Now, this isn't a marriage talk. This is a success talk, but I want you to understand success is in every aspect of your life. If you're going to truly be successful, like we talked about yesterday, you can't have success in the corporate world and have failure in your church world, or you can't have success in the corporate world and be failing as a Christian, or you can't be successful as a Christian and failing in the corporate world. Real success is when everything, all cylinders are firing and your car is running on all cylinders, right? And so real success looks like that. Now, I want to take you to the next and the last type of person, and that is the person who is significant. When we talk about significance, we're talking about importance. We're talking about importance because significance means that you're important, right? And so when I talk about significance and importance, I want you to understand I'm talking about Jesus. Jesus is the most significant person in history. Now, again, you may not be a person of faith, but you can't argue this. Come on, let's be realistic for a minute. How can we argue coming up on Easter that Jesus, who lived 2,000 years ago, is not the most significant human being that has ever lived? The reason I can say that is because no matter how much they have tried to destroy his name, no matter how much the world has tried to stomp out what people call his religious belief and his following, no matter how much they have tried to rid the world of his word, it cannot be accomplished. People do not get upset. Listen to me. People do not get upset when you talk about Buddha. People do not get upset when you talk about Muhammad. People do not get upset when you talk about significant people of the past, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. But people get upset when you start talking about Jesus, because the truth of the matter is, he is the most significant human being that has ever lived on planet Earth. And what I find in the Word of God is Jesus said, "Be you followers of me. As you've seen me do, you do also. The words you've heard me speak, go and repeat and do also." So here's the question. If Jesus doesn't want me to be significant, then why does he tell me to be an imitator of him? Because he's significant, right? I mean, wouldn't you agree? Jesus is significant. And so here's the thing, is that when we are talking about moving through these stages of life, moving through these areas of self-examination, because that's what we should be doing, is examining ourselves. And when we talk about that, we want to move from, and let me show you this in just kind of an idea, just kind of an idea of what we're talking about, all right? And so we want to move through this, and we want to move from struggling, okay? We want to move from struggling, and we want to go from struggling, and we want to go straight into moving from struggling and stranded, right? Where our life has been hit on pause, and we don't want to be on pause anymore. We want to be progressing and find prosperity. And I don't mean that in the sense of riches only. I mean living a prosperous life as Jesus said he wants us to have, as God said in Jeremiah 29:11, I want you to prosper. Okay? And so we find that, and then we're going to move from there, and we're going to go into a successful life, because the only way we can find a successful life is if we transition from struggling and stranded. Then we can transition into a level of success. But it's only going to happen, friends, if we examine ourselves. If we come to the place where we realize I have to do some self-examination. Why am I struggling? What am I struggling with? Who am I struggling with? Who stranded me? Why am I still stranded? Where have I been left stranded? In what area? What part of my life? Is it in my finances? Is it in my relationships? Is it in my family relationship? Is it in my friendship relationship? Is it in church relationship? I've got to get off pause because the hurt has hindered me. Are you with me? And once we do that self-examination, we can move into the level of success. Now we can move to success. And once we get into success, then we can begin to transition to the place of significance. We can begin to transition into the place of becoming important. How do I do that? What is the difference, Jody, between success and significance? The difference is when I am being significant, I'm leaving a legacy. I'm leaving a legacy. I am really mattering to other people. I'm making a difference not only for myself. Success can be greedy. Success can be about me. Significance is about we. God, that's a good statement. Did you hear that? Success can be all about me, but significance can't be about me. It has to be about we. How can I help you achieve success to the level of success I'm on? That's when you become significant. That's when you become like Jesus. Who wants to find success? Who wants to move up the ladder a little bit? Who wants to find a new place, a new stage in life? Who wants to keep moving forward? Who wants to keep moving up? Let's be like the Jeffersons and let's move on up. I want to encourage you because here's what I'm really trying to drive home. So many of us never take the time to examine ourselves, and therefore we never grow. We never reach a new plane, a new plateau, a new level. I don't even like the word plane or plateau. Let's use the word pinnacle. Imagine it like this, and I'm finished tonight, and I'm going to let you just absorb this teaching. Imagine it like this. What if we're going to climb Mount Everest, one of the highest peaks in the world? If we're going to climb, we have to have the proper tools to successfully get to the top. We not only have to have the proper tools, though. It doesn't matter if I've got the picks and if I've got the right shoes and if I've got the right tent and if I've got the right backpack. If I don't have the understanding of how to get there and somebody to lead me there, there's a chance that I'm not going to make it. If I don't have the expertise of someone who's already climbed Mount Everest, there's a chance I'll never make it, a good chance. Here's the other thing. If I do not examine myself, as a matter of fact, most people that's going to climb that type of height, they will go get a physical from their doctor. They will train for the climb by climbing smaller heights. As they climb those smaller heights, they begin to realize that things like my endurance isn't strong enough for Mount Everest. If I were to climb Mount Everest today, I would struggle because my endurance is not there. So what do? They go work on their endurance. Maybe they realize their hand strength isn't strong enough if they have to cling to the rock face. Maybe they realize their rappelling expertise isn't where it needs to be. I hope you see where I'm going. So what they have to do is they have to take a self-examination of the different areas of their life, and they have to say, where am I doing well? Where am I not doing so well? Where am I doing okay? Where have I been hurt? Am I still there? You see, that's the categories. Because when I talk about am I not doing well, I'm struggling. I don't have a lot of endurance. I need to get on the treadmill. I need to go run. Okay? So I'm not doing well with my finances. I'm struggling. I need to grow. I need to find some resources to learn. I'm not doing well in my marriage. I need to grow. Maybe I'm settling. Oh, it's okay. I don't have to climb Mount Everest. It's a dream. It's a goal. I don't have to do it. You know what? I'm fine with climbing Morrow Mountain. I'm fine with climbing Grandfather Mountain. I'm good with that. I achieved it. I climbed Grandfather Mountain. I'm among millions. You see, the most successful people take a self-examination. And I want to encourage you, take the time, take a piece of paper and write down the areas of your life where write down the 5 categories. Struggler, I'm struggling. I'm stranded. Okay? What areas am I struggling in? Who has left me stranded and hurt me? What organization, what organism hurt me? Okay? Not only that, you find that you have the struggling and the stranded, and you have next the settler. Where am I settling? Where am I just hitting pause in my life? I know I could do better. I know I deserve better. I know I want better, but I'm settling. Then as we move on, where am I successful? I want to really focus on this. Where am I successful? You can't beat yourself up. You gotta honor the wins in your life. But then you want to move past those successes and you want to become significant. And being significant is a lifelong journey. You'll never stop being significant if you ever start, because you'll want to continually help people and be more like Jesus. I hope this has been a blessing to you tonight. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I've actually kept you longer than I meant to by about 6 minutes, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope it's been an encouragement to you. And I hope you'll share this with your friends, because I promise you, I'm going to give you things that are truly going to help you in your life, in every area of your life, to be successful. You can apply this teaching tonight to your business life. You can apply it to your corporate life. You can apply it to your church life. You can apply it to your Christian life. You can apply it to your family life. You can apply it to every aspect of your life, and it works. And so take the time and examine yourself. Write it down, and take the time to work through it. And the areas that you're really weak in, let's go from wimpy to warrior. Amen? Let's go from struggle to success and being significant, helping other people achieve the same success we found. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. right here. And I'm coming back with a fresh word to encourage you, a fresh teaching to encourage you. And I can tell you this, you don't want to miss tomorrow night. You don't want to miss any of these. I am really praying and I'm seeking God over what to teach you in these 30 days, because I want it to be 30 days that will absolutely impact your life. So until tomorrow night, God bless you. Have a great night.